Hello, thank you for coming to my video. If you would like to help my channel grow, please like and subscribe, and please click on this little bell icon so you never miss a future video. Hello everyone, welcome to the next part of my Let's Play the Halo series where we are playing Halo 4. So my earlier gameplay that I recorded a while back on the Xbox 360, I don't have the first couple stages like I thought I did. So we're going to start off a little ways into the game. Not too far though. But we're going to go right into the action here. My soda. So, first off, right off the bat, I love Halo 4. I really liked this game when it came out. Really enjoyed it. So, I mean, the graphics in this game, I mean, especially on the Master Chief Collection, because, you know, it just looks like an Xbox One game. But, I mean, it's just incredible game. I mean, it's just, I mean, not an incredible game, but just incredible graphics. They redid the sound. I believe they used the Halo Reach engine, and they basically just revamped it and added a died right away. Well, shucks. Nah, I'm trying to play. I suck at playing and talking at the same time. But yeah, it's the Halo Reach engine. They added a HDR lighting effect, redid the whole sound, all the sound effects, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, they did a great job with the games in terms of the looks and presentation. I mean, story and gameplay, that's a whole other thing to talk about, which we're going to get into that. But, I mean, Halo 4, it's a very interesting game when you look back on it. Because Bungie was gone. Bungie was away from Microsoft. Bungie was doing their own thing at this time, which, you know, eventually be working on Destiny. But, I mean, it was the first Halo game made by 343 Industries. I mean, if you don't count Halo Anniversary, which, I mean, Halo Anniversary came out between Halo 4 and Halo Reach, but we kind of already covered that in our very first video. So, I mean, that's why we're going straight to Halo 4. But when you look back on it, it's the first game made by, ooh, here we are. Got this guy. Ooh, sniper rifle. I'm gonna get into the ins and outs of all these weapons a little later, but first Halo game made by 343 Industries, pretty much from scratch. And they were in a really tough spot when it came to making the next Halo game. Because, how the hell do you live through that? There we go. I mean, if you look at the game in terms of trying to follow the previous Halos, oh crap, I am not doing well. I mean, if you look at the Halo series and you look at the next, you know, this game right here, I mean, 343 was kind of in an interesting spot of what to do. I mean, do they make a traditional Halo game, or do they try to do something different? You had a little bit of Halo fatigue at the time. I mean, clearly, Bungie was... Do I have it cranked up on hard or something? Or am I just sucking? I don't know where the difficulty is. I think I'm just sucking. But, I mean, do you make a traditional Halo game, or... Do you make something different? Or, I mean, you look at Halo Reach, and Bungie was clearly trying to decide, you know, what to do with Halo. I mean, how to keep the game fresh. I mean, you had like all these armor abilities and things like that. And I mean, story was great. Story was absolutely phenomenal. But gameplay-wise, it's like, you know, what do you do? I mean, they pulled it off. The game was great, but to me, they still kind of shoehorned a lot of stuff in the game. I mean, in my opinion. I mean, the game was still good. But I was never a fan of the armor abilities and things like that. especially things like the hologram thing and the ground pound shield thing. It just wasn't that big of a deal to me. Grab him. But, I mean, when you look at this game, it's like, do you go for the traditional Halo experience, or do you try and do something new? And when you look at at the time, you look at a lot of the Halo forums, and Halo in terms of popularity, Call of Duty was big, first-person shooters, I mean, there's a lot of them on the market. I mean, if you would have made a traditional Halo experience, it would have just, Halo fatigue would have just been on overtime. And I think like going with something different was probably the better choice for them at the time, even though you look back on it and it wasn't like, it wasn't the solid, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like, I don't know if any of you guys are wrestling fans, when you watch WWF Raw back in the day, and when Eric Bischoff was mandated to create WCW Monday Nitro, and he looked at it and goes, well, you can't do what WWF was doing, you know, now WWE. They're too good. You either have to do what they're doing better or be different. And I don't think 343 Industries was in a position to do Halo better than Bungie did, so they elected to make it different, which I think was actually a good decision, and it gave them the opportunity to, you know, eventually make Halo Master Chief Collection, which, I mean, that was kind of a train wreck, but we'll get into that. And the problem with that was you had the next Call of Duty game, like Black Ops, coming out, you know, a couple weeks later or however long it was, and after that came out, people kind of like forgot about this game, and then just the player population and everything just dropped. Because I remember the hype for this game was still really good. I mean, you look back on it, it's like, yeah, it's Halo 4, it wasn't that good, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, the hype, I mean, the game had a lot of hype. People were really excited for it. I mean, my friends and I, we pre-ordered a copy at our local video game store. We all not camped out, but we all stood in line, took a number. They had a tournament going on, you know, winner got a free copy of the game, which it was a long tournament. We actually forfeited, just bought our game so we can go home and play it. Everyone was impressed by it. It looked good. I mean, it was of course it was different, but you know, it's like, hey, this is kind of neat. A lot of people were, you know, really excited. The game had a lot of marketing behind it. I knew a couple of people that sold their PlayStation 3s to buy an Xbox 360 to play Halo 4 with their friends. But you know, after a couple weeks, you know, Black Ops 2 comes out, or a month, or however long it was. I forget off the top of my head. I think it was about a month. And then Halo 4 just declined. Not as many people played it. So, and it was what it was. I mean, the game was good, but it wasn't great. The story, oh, I passed the point I was supposed to go. The story was decent, but it wasn't like a great story. It wasn't, you had good music in the game, but of course Marty O'Donnell went to work on Destiny with, you know, because he was part of Bungie.
We don't have time. So
the music score didn't feel like a Halo music score. It felt like something else. Not that it was bad, it just didn't fit.
This is Sierra 117 of the UNSC forward unto dawn. Do you copy?
So, I mean, the beginning of the game, which we kind of skipped that opening scene, the beginning of the game takes place right after, not right after, because there's like a 3-year gap of, or 3 or 4 year gap of Master Chief in like hibernation, but it basically takes place after the end of Halo 4, you know, the legendary after the credits scene where half of the ship that he was on survived, and reveals that, you know, Master Chief and Cortana are still alive. So But one of the interesting things I like about this game is, as far as the story, is it focuses more on the relationship between the Master Chief and Cortana. I mean, a lot of dialogue back and forth, even with the Master Chief. I mean, Master Chief, previous Halo games, he didn't really talk a lot, and now he talks a little bit more. You know, he's talking to Cortana as you're playing the game. So, I mean, that's kind of a cool evolution of the character. So this villain right here, I never really understood him when playing the game, and I didn't read a lot of the comics or books or anything like that. And the story isn't as self-contained like it should be. It's not like, if you want to understand a lot of the story, you kind of got to read some of the lore. It's dependent on the expanded story, like the comics and stuff. It doesn't like enhance the story. That's kind of what sucks about this. It's even worse in Halo 5. But I mean, it still stands on its own. Okay. I mean, it's basically a Forerunner guy that is a bad guy, and you gotta prevent him from conquering the universe. So that's it in a nutshell. But that's not really the main focus in the story. The main focus is basically Master Chief and Cortana. Cortana is basically dying because she's going crazy because of her age. Because the AIs in the stories, when they get to a certain age, they basically outthink themselves to death, and they go crazy and they go rampant. And that's kind of the point what Cortana is at right now.
Time was your ally, human.
Really good graphics. Honestly, I still can't get over how good the graphics are. I mean, even the 360 version that I was playing a while back, the graphics in this game just blow me away, especially for 7-year-old hardware. But another thing I want to talk about, which I didn't show because we didn't start at the beginning, but maybe I'll show a couple of cutscenes, is the cutscenes in this game are pre-rendered cutscenes like in Halo Wars. So it's, you know, that real nice, crisp, cinematic cutscenes, where all the previous Halos, the core Halo series, the cutscenes were rendered in the game. So, and that's a nice touch. And you saw that in Halo 2's anniversary on the Master Chief Collection.
What's happening?
Moving the satellite. Destabilize the core.
So another thing I didn't like is in the opening stage, which is a good opening stage. I mean, it's a good action-packed, reintroduce you to Halo and the character, and just kind of in your face and all that. But it starts off, you're fighting the Covenant, and it's like, okay, at the end of the last Halo, or Halo 3, it's like you kind of have a truce with the Covenant, and all of a sudden now you're fighting again. It's like, whoa, why are we fighting the Covenant? Oh, well, a lot can happen in 3 years. And that's it. So, it doesn't really expand on why, but it is what it is. And I'm sure there's a good reason. I'm sure it's been expanded in the comics and the books and all that stuff, but, you know, I'm not reading all that stuff. I'm just playing the game. I thought they could have expanded that stuff a little bit better. It's kind of like in Halo 5, which we'll get to. It's like, well, who's Spartan Locke? Oh, well, you gotta read and watch all the material before playing the game. It's like, well, it's not really contained within the game. That stuff's supposed to enhance the story, not be dependent on the story. You know, or the game's story is not supposed to be dependent on that stuff. It's supposed to be enhanced by it. So, and we're not that far into the game. You know, we're only on like the first couple stages, and there's already like this runaway stage, like at the end of the first Halo and whatnot. So kind of a nice touch. Not too bad. I mean, the structure of the levels and everything are paced out pretty good. But, you know, when my friends and I, when we got this game, we opened it up, we noticed there were 2 discs. So, I mean, there's a lot of content in the game. So I had to rely on a second disc to be installed on your hard drive. or whatever memory device you had. So then you put your first gameplay disc in, which was fine. I mean, you had your console wars, you had your PlayStation 3 and your Xbox 360, your PlayStation 3, which supported Blu-ray discs, and your Xbox 360s, which, were still standard DVDs. So any game that used a lot of memory had to have an installation disc or multiple discs. And I remember some people, complaining about it, how, they should have went to Blu-rays, but I never thought it was a big deal. I always thought it was great. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. The game has a lot of content. And a lot of that mentality for me was when Final Fantasy VII came out on the PlayStation 1. I mean, the game came out on 3 discs, which, this is back shortly after video games went from cartridges to CDs. And it's like, okay, you got this amazing amount of memory on this format, and now has to have 3 of them. That must be like a really, really big game. I mean, it's all full motion video mostly, but still, it was, we all thought it was kind of cool back then. So the installation disc never really bothered me at all. I kind of wish a lot of companies still did it, just because I really hate buying a physical version of a game and then half the content has to be downloaded, because you don't really own that game, you don't really own that copy. It's all on a server somewhere.
Same place we are.
And I after Master Chief Collection and that early Xbox One, PS4 generation of games coming out, kind of depending on day one patches and downloads, I don't buy physical games that rely on that day one content download anymore. I try to boycott them. I mean, I don't mind playing them through like Game Pass or giving them a rental or something like that, or maybe buying them digitally if they're really cheap, but for the most part, I try to avoid those games. That's just how I am, especially with the Nintendo Switch. But I mean, we should probably talk about the gameplay now. As far as like the weapons, they brought back a lot of the old Halo style weapons from previous Halos. I mean, the assault rifle, it's gone back to the old traditional assault rifle versus the one you saw in Halo Reach. They brought back the battle rifle from early Halos. They changed the scope a little bit, but it's pretty much the same 3-shot burst battle rifle. Even kept the DMR from Halo Reach, so you got both the battle rifle and the DMR. So that's kind of cool to have options. You don't really have a lot of the brute weapons in the game. I mean, I don't think there's any now that I think about it. Which is fine. I never cared much for the brute weapons. I mean, the brute shot was okay, but I don't know. It's always like, hey, we need an idea for new weapons, new weapon ideas. All right, let's do this. But they brought back like the carbine rifle. They brought back the beam rifle. So had a couple of new weapons like the rail gun. So not too bad. But they brought in the Promethean weapons. Because your Prometheans are basically like the new race. Those guys that we just saw right there. Oh, here's a DMR. So got the pistol. I can zoom in. So that's kind of cool. Got our DMR weapon. So we got our single shot gun.
The tag IDs him as Jimenez Palo J.
But yeah, I mean, Promethean characters. I mean, they're basically they're basically this game's Flood. Flood's always really cool, but to me, fighting the Flood gets really repetitive, really, really fast. Prometheans have that problem a little bit too, but to me, it's not as bad. But I do like the Promethean weapons. I mean, I thought it was something different, but you still had your style, I'm trying to figure out where to go here. This way? Which way did I come from? Okay, I think I come from up there. But you still had your... yeah, I suck at talking and playing at the same time. You still had your, your standard, ranged weapon, machine gun, pistol weapon, shotgun type weapon, your rocket launcher type weapon, your sniper weapon, that kind of thing. But you know, it was something different. I mean, it kind of gave that futuristic look. Like here's the Promethean machine gun. You shoot that, and reload it. You know, looks kind of Forerunner-ish. You know, from playing the previous Halos, you kind of have an idea what Forerunner stuff would look like. So yeah, it was a nice touch. It was something new and fresh and different. It was a good way to keep a new Halo fresh. But the game still has armor abilities, like in Halo Reach. You know, you still have some jetpacks and cloaking and the hollow decoy thing and whatnot. It's it doesn't feel as shoehorned in this like it does in Halo Reach. It, you know, feels a little more like it belongs in the game, but that could also just be because, you know, you're used to it in Halo Reach, and now you're just kind of used to it being in a Halo game. But they also have sprinting, which, you know, sprinting is no longer a Spartan ability like an armor ability. It's just a standard thing, which is both good and bad. So, I mean, it's, you know, like I talked about earlier about sticking to a traditional Halo formula. I can kill this guy because he's just going to resurrect crap. You know, in terms of like sticking to a traditional, you know, Halo game or trying to make it different. You know, they went with making it different, but at the same time, they went with what was being done on a lot of first-person shooters on the market at the time, namely Call of Duty. Because Call of Duty was basically the new king of online play. It was the new game. So they basically, a lot of people looked at it, including, you know, reviewers and major publications, stuff like that, as, you know, Halo evolving to get with the times, which, you know, is, I don't want to say is whether good or bad. It's to me, it's just what it was. I don't think it worked in the long run, but at the time, it seemed like a pretty good idea because a lot of people were used to Call of Duty, and, you know, Call of Duty was popular for a reason, obviously. I mean, you can say what you want about it now, but on the other hand, you look at a game like Counter-Strike Go. I mean, that game stuck to its roots, and Counter-Strike Go is widely successful because of it. You know, they didn't like change or evolve or try to become like Call of Duty or things like that. Here's a cool little armor ability. Actually, not too bad. But the problem with sprinting in Halo is it changes the game. It changes how it works. And there's better videos that explain that better than I can just doing commentary. But my problem with the sprinting in Halo is not necessarily that it changes Halo, but if you want that traditional Halo experience in this new Halo game, which I still stand by it being a good Halo game, there's no way to play a multiplayer game that's traditional. I mean, you look at Halo Reach, and you got like all the armor abilities and some loadouts and stuff like that. You can kind of disable that stuff, and I'll get to that more when we play some multiplayer. There's not like a playlist where there's no sprinting and no armor abilities and no loadouts. I mean, there's one with no armor. You can have it with, you can have a custom game with no armor abilities and no loadouts and no ordnance drops, which we'll get to that too. But you can't disable the sprinting. I mean, if you could just disable the sprinting and play a custom game with like a traditional Halo experience, then it wouldn't be so bad, because, you know, you can have the best of both worlds. And a game that has a lot of options, so people can enjoy it how they want, it, to me, is always a good thing. Ooh, yeah, let's pick up this guy. Well, let me pick up this guy. There we go. No, oh. Oh yeah, let's pick up this rifle too. This is kind of the Promethean battle rifle here. Shoots a 3-shot burst, but when you zoom in, it shoots like a single shot. So that's kind of cool.
We've got another IFF on the far side of this thicket.
You'll see in some of the dialogue, it'll show like a little windowed corner. Like a little mini, like picture-in-picture thing. In some cases, it's kind of cool. I like how they did that. Remind me of the old PlayStation game, Crazy Ivan. I don't know if you ever played that. You walk around like a big mech suit. You play as like a crazy Russian who's just dumb as shit. But he's a badass. I gotta play that game again. It was a fun game to play back in the day. Aliens taking over the world. And everything's getting destroyed, and he only gets upset and wants payback when they're destroying Disneyland. So, let's see here. Got a little farther along on the 360 version. Let's see. Yep. Got some rifle ammo here. Now, of course, the game supports co-op and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, the last 2 Halo games that came out, you know, Reach and ODST, you know, had the firefight mode. Unfortunately, this game does not have firefight. They actually replaced it with something called Spartan Ops. You know, that is also good and bad. And we'll show off Spartan Ops a little bit here. It's the game, kind of like the gameplay and all that, you know, where it just basically just throws hordes of enemies at you. It's basically the same thing, but it tries to add some story to it. It basically takes place after the campaign, so it expands the story, which, to me, I thought it was really cool. It was a good way to keep playing the story and find out, you know, what also is going on. But a lot of people complained that it took away a lot of the replayability. So this is what I was talking here, just a little picture-in-picture thing. Like when you're actually talking to people over radio, actually show their faces and stuff moving. So that's kind of cool little ability. I like that.
Multiple IDs. Chief, they're friendlies.
So this is when Master Chief makes contact with the UNSC again.
Afraid we're gonna have to give you an IOU on that one.
And we have Commander Lockley.
First off,
I think it's Commander Lockley.
never thought I'd see you again.
If you ever watched the web series or web movie they did called Halo Forward Unto Dawn, it basically introduces that guy as he's like a cadet. That's kind of his backstory. And of course you have Sarah Palmer, a Spartan 4, which we talked in a previous game in Halo Reach about the Spartan 3s. The Spartan 4s were basically newer versions of Spartans, but they were just as powerful as the Spartan 2s, but took about the same amount of resources to create as the Spartan 3s. However, Dr. Halsey does not really consider them as true Spartans because they weren't raised to be Spartans as children, which there's a cutscene in Spartan Ops that actually talks about that. It's kind of cool.
Sir, we'll never get the wounded back to the ship on foot.
I don't know if it's too soon to ask you for a favor, but we're gonna run out of breathing room here real quick.
But you meet the captain on this ship,
Suppose you're any good at
because that guy there doesn't quite become the captain until later on in the game. But one of the other problems I have with the story is the captain has like a lot of hostility towards the Master Chief for whatever unexplained reason. Which, you know, maybe they explain it like a... Oh, here's another thing real quick. You know, you can exchange weapons and that kind of stuff. But has a lot of hostility towards the Master Chief and Cortana for whatever reason, but doesn't really explain why. He's just basically kind of a jerk. But I thought they should have expanded that a little bit in the game's story. You know, like maybe he had a child that was abducted by Oni as part of the Spartan Project, and he found out later, and he holds a grudge against the Spartan Project because of it, or something like that. It's just like, oh, he just hates Spartan. He's just an incompetent captain. Which, you know, why would he command like the newest, biggest UNSC ship if he's an incompetent captain? But yeah, maybe there's something that explains that better on, or like a comic or something. My game just freeze? Yeah, my game just kicked me back out. What the hell? Well, so much for Master Chief being fully fixed. Let's see, where did I stop at? Let's go to Bravo. I think that's about where I was. That was a weird bug. Never seen that before. I've seen worse bugs in Halo Master Chief Collection. That's the worst. It's not too bad.
A topographical scan of the
Oh
area
yeah, that's exactly where I
shows a break
started.
in the foliage
Okay, we're
north
not too
of
bad.
the-
Let's see if it does that
Big enough to bring
again.
in a dropship for evac.
Another thing I like about Halo 4, which I didn't find this out until later, is I'll show you through the settings. I mean, I'm playing Master Chief Collection now, but this exact layout was also put in Halo 4. Is this universal zoom and shoot? I don't know if it's called the same thing, but I'm pretty sure it is. Where you can zoom by holding the left trigger, and melee by pushing in the right thumbstick, and crouch by holding or pressing the B button, which is the default controls for Call of Duty games. And yeah, I kind of criticize the game about, you know, copying Call of Duty a little too much. But I mean, this is just it's not a default option. It's like a option you can change too. But it's basically the same control scheme as Call of Duty. So you can actually bounce back and forth between Halo 4 and Call of Duty. And all the controls would be pretty much identical, or very, very, very close to it. So it would be a seamless transition between both games. And I wish I had realized that and noticed it when I was playing Halo 4 at the time, because I probably would have played more of it, because I was so used to playing Call of Duty at the time because I played it so much. And Master Chief Collection, of course, carries that over, which you actually incorporate. Is that going to freeze up again? What the hell? Okay, if you guys are also any of you guys are also having the same problem, leave me a comment down below. I'm a little curious. I've actually, with all the bugs and all the crap I've experienced in Master Chief Collection, I've actually never seen that before. So we're going to skip ahead a little bit just to bypass that problem. Maybe if I delete my content and start over from scratch, maybe I wouldn't do that. But we'll skip ahead. Which, you know, that'll catch us up to the video that we're on a 360 version. It'll put us right where I want to play, too.
Let him have it.
Yeah, tank. Love the
Good to go,
tank.
Chief. Show these Spartans how it's done.
Of course, tank's a little weaker in this game, unfortunately. Oh, are they going to mount it? Yes, they are. But, I mean, it's pretty much the same tank as, you know, Halo Reach and Halo 3. But it's a little weaker like in Halo 2, but it's not too bad. But one thing you'll notice, and I talked about this, or I touched up on this in terms of the graphics, you know, because it uses all brand new lighting engines, so like the graphics and detail just look way better. But because of that, the environments, or at least the mini environment, oh, I like I like how the Marines are, you know, driving around the Warthog again. I mean, it's pretty standard in Halo at this point. Oh, even though they're doing a crappy job. Do I need to tip that over for them? There you go. Let's see. Yeah, they'll figure out. Who cares? The levels and stuff, it's not like this big, huge open level. What I mean by that is there's not like a lot of room to drive. I mean, it's a lot of the gameplay areas are pretty narrow. And even in multiplayer, like you don't have like a Forge world like you had in Halo Reach, but you have like smaller versions of Forge world. So your environments have to be a little smaller because of the upgraded graphics. So that's kind of why. But I mean, it's okay. I mean, it is what it is. He's driving around with no gunner. Oh, jeez, you noob. Here, I'll be your gunner. Get back here. Actually, screw you. Drive away. Didn't want to be gunner anyway. So like this whole area here is just really narrow. And unfortunately, that's how a lot of the game is. And there's some exceptions. There's some parts where it's, you know, there's a lot to drive around on, things like that. Ooh, there we go. Love the tank. Never get tired of driving the tank. Back in our old Halo 1 LAN parties, my friend Nate, when we play multiplayer, you know, Blood Gold, Sidewinder, whatever. First thing you do, hop in the tank, and just drive around the tank the whole entire game. You know, back then the vehicles were indestructible, so you can never destroy the tank, but you can stank them out pretty easily. Well, I don't see my guy driving around a Warthog anymore. So, multiplayer maps, yeah, they're pretty good. I know a lot of people complained about them. Like, you know, they just weren't, like, really well thought out multiplayer maps. But I liked them. I didn't think they were too bad. I mean, I don't play esports or MLG playlists, or I don't follow the competitive stuff too much, but I thought they were alright. And the Mantis. I haven't talked about the Mantis yet. In this stage, we'll get to a part where we're basically, it's a new vehicle, and it's basically a walking mech. And why it never, why something like that was not put into Halo until Halo 4, why I had never even thought about it was beyond me. I mean, it's a futuristic game. Might as well have a big walking mech, right? That's a nice little addition. It's not too bad. Apparently I had my game recorded earlier paused for some reason. I don't remember why. Probably a bathroom break or something. Here we are, going into the ship. Driving a tank inside a big ship.
Lasky just radioed. You picked a hell of a time to rejoin us.
So I like how they did the little video and the picture-in-picture over there. I always thought that was really cool.
Extracting data from the ship's mainframes as we speak.
Can we break the connection?
Main point of contact for the ship's upper hull. The fastest route is through the maintenance causeway. There's a Mantis docked inside the door. Take it. You'll need the extra firepower.
Let's see, which way oh, here we are. So one thing about the lighting and the art style for this, it still had that earth-tony art style. You know, still, like the color schemes and everything, it still had that Halo look. I mean, you had lighting and stuff and things that were glowing, but there's still, it didn't, the graphics, I guess I should probably get more into this when I play Halo 5, but the game still looked like a Halo game, like when you look at screenshots and things like that. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, this is like your Mantis, your walking mech. You got your machine gun. You got your rockets. You got your melee attack where you just stomp on things. Not very mobile, but you know, it takes a lot of hits. Almost looks like something from Metal Gear Solid. Press right analog stick to overload Mantis hydraulic systems. Fancy way to say to step on people. I shall name this Mantis Freckles. If you don't get that, if you don't know that reference, then I feel sorry for you. Tearing up the interior of our own ship. Oh, not a good spot to drop, buddy. Takes forever to reload rockets, though. Let's see, what else can we talk about in this game? Yeah, I remember in the forums, you know, after about a month, when people were kind of undecisive on Halo 4, where they hadn't looked up a lot of the game stuff, you haven't really played a lot of it, and actually they hadn't played any of it, and they're trying to decide whether to buy the game or not. People are saying, should I buy, you know, like those topics you see in like forums and message boards, should I buy Halo 4? And a lot of the reasons why people weren't buying Halo 4 is, well, the Halo series seems kind of played out, and I'm kind of tired of Halo and the same old, and of course people are replying like, well, then you obviously haven't played Halo 4 because of how different it is. I remember I remember Halo doing a promotional thing with Mountain Dew and Doritos where you get like points to unlock stuff in multiplayer, which doesn't really mean that much. But working at my parents' convenience store and managing the place, I would take a lot of the labels off the bottle returns and just take all the points.
I see the jammers. 3 of them. Shoot them down.
Of course, there's the Didact and his little sphere thing.
First jammer disabled.
Of course, you got the vehicle lock on, things like that.
That's 2.
I keep forgetting the stomping thing. There we go. It just went flying. Oh, shit me. There you are. Oh, that didn't lock on. So it was shooting that way.
That's it. Jammers neutralized.
There you go. Now holds it. Crap, I should have got that thing switched. There's a couple more Mantis vehicles. Oh, it puts me back here. That's okay. One,
First jammer disabled.
2.
That's 2.
Oh, let me get a little closer. Let's go over here. Oh, there's a rocket launcher there. I didn't even notice that.
That's it. Jammers neutralized.
Let's do this. Grab this. Just in case we need it. Again, the brand new one. There we go. Destroy those like you could in Halo Reach. Oh, I am surrounded. Oh, crap. Don't die on me. Don't die on me like I did last time. There we go. Yeah, we're doing alright.
Del Rio to Master Chief. The rate that thing's searching our systems just doubled. I think it knows what you're up to.
Didact's not letting go without a fight.
Yeah, this one here. remember correctly, I think they wouldn't collect a guns charge or something. Or trying to get a lock on stuff so you can fire on it.
Pulsing targets. Finish them off.
Oops, I didn't mean to get out of that.
So it's done.
Captain Del Rio to Sierra 117. The MAC network's reading operational, but our EM relays are malfunctioning. You'll have to initiate the link manually.
Activate MAC network. Yeah, because I gotta put a switch in the very center in the middle of nowhere. Because when the ship's in outer space, you just walk out here and hit this.
That's it. That control room.
Firing main cannon.
It's working. The Dimebag's retreating.
Dry, you better run.
Condition yellow. Stand down. Section head report in. Begin damage assessment.
So yeah, I mean, even though you got the Mantis vehicle, you still got your Scorpion tank, you still got your Warthog, still got your Ghosts, you got your Banshees.
Where the hell did those things come from?
It's possible that they're native to Requiem, or whatever counts as native for a Forerunner AI.
So,
We've never seen this type of offensive reaction from any of the other installations.
Other installations.
Mr. Lasky,
Infinity's mission has been to locate the remaining Halo rings and establish permanent bases to study them for decommission. We got locations up and running around installations 5 and 3, but lately they've run into some setbacks.
a science team got zapped excavating a Forerunner artifact. This sensor data is all that was left.
Interesting. These symbols are a derivation of the Forerunner glyph system.
And our geeks managed to pull some coordinates. I'll give you 3 guesses where it led.
Sir, Gypsy Company is prepped and ready to roll on your orders.
Thank you, Palmer. Mr. Lasky, you take point. I want boots on the ground in 60.
Captain,
This is a first contact scenario, Master Chief. Priority is to free Infinity from Requiem's gravity well and file a threat assessment back at FleetCom.
You mean we're leaving?
sir, Infinity drove the Didac back. He's
It's like,
gone.
hey, here's a universe threat. We have a chance to kill it. Oh no, we're just gonna let it sit there.
You know, I think you...
They don't really explain his incompetence very well. I thought they could have explained it a little better.
Fight another day.
You know, if he's that incompetent of a captain, then how to even get command of a ship in the first place? But now we're on probably the biggest escort mission in all of Halo. Because you escort a big vehicle.
Infinity to Gypsy Company? The air corridor to the gravity well is blocked by a network of particle cannons. Infinity shields are still down.
So, I mean, it's like the first couple stages, you know, before I started playing. It's like,
What's Force Recon's
it's like, oh hey, here we are. We're the UNSC Infinity ship, and we arrived to rescue you. And then also the next stage, they just leave you on the planet. Oh hey, now that we rescued you, we're gonna leave you here. Bye, see ya. And The overall story of the game is just not that good. I mean, the focus on Cortana and Master Chief is well done, but just the overall story around that is just didn't really give it enough thought. So doesn't really make too much sense.
I don't know about you, but I usually like a little more intel.
If this was a
We'll make it work.
if this was a movie instead of a video game, that CinemaSins guy would just have a field day with this. But I mean, I still enjoyed playing the game. I mean, it's not like I went back and played the story mode like over and over again, like I did with some of the earlier Halos, like Halo 1 or Halo ODST or Halo Reach. But so yeah, I got this great big like mobile vehicle. I'd love to have one of these and drive it around. Great big tires. See, there's some weapons in here somewhere. Yeah, see, we got rocket launchers. Some sniper rifles around here somewhere.
Chief, unfortunately for us, we've got to manually bring down a couple of particle cannons before we can get to the command post.
Chief, Palmer again.
You know, like the cutscenes you saw earlier.
If I were down there, I'd want one.
The one on the bridge. I was thinking that was a in-game engine, but now I'm pretty sure that was actually like, you know, cutscene. Ah, here we are, jetpack.
Gypsy Company, this is Captain.
So I mean, you still got your armor abilities like in Halo Reach, you know.
Is green.
Eh.
Shut down that gravity well so we can go home. Good hunting. Infinity out.
Nice little six-wheeler tank with a big gun on it.
Okay, Gypsy, time to work for it. Let's shake some dirt.
Lasky, that's what the guy's name was. Lasky, not Lackey. I think I called him Lackey earlier. Or Locky. Got a little turret sitting here. You can just, you know, shoot your rockets. Kind of like the rocket turrets on Warthogs in Halo Reach.
Captain Del Rio,
So.
targeting Pelicans are in position near the particle cannons, waiting for the Mammoth's mini-mac to take them out. 766, lose some altitude. You're inside the kill box.
Almost got target lock. Just a little more.
Pelican, fall back.
Infinity! Pelican's down!
Get to the crash site and retrieve that target designator, Gypsy. You've got no chance of clearing those guns without it. All teams, we've got Covenant squads digging in on the ridgeline. Weapons free, people.
Yeah, I'm gonna get in this thing. Just shoot him from over here. So I think these little antenna things are like jammers or something. I haven't really played a lot of the story mode in this. Played when it came out, played it a few times afterwards. You're not missing much of the story if you don't play too much.
All right, Chief. Mammoth's just about in range.
Eyes up, Gypsy. Dropships on approach.
There's Gypsy 7's Pelican on the map. Anyone still alive?
So I think there's a rocket thing over. Yeah, here we are.
We've got the target designator.
I'll get to them and retrieve the designator.
Oh! Should have been paying better attention.
Eyes up, Gypsy. Dropships on
Let's go here and start shooting sooner.
There's Gypsy 7's Pelican
There we
on
go.
the map. Anyone still alive?
I'll get to them and retrieve the designator.
That's right, gotta drive over there and get the Get the little marker. Let's see. Getting the Warthog. Love me some good Warthog driving. Because for whatever reason, that big cannon just can't, like, approximately aim and shoot. You gotta be precise with the marker thing.
Keep tight, Marine. We'll get you out of here.
Thanks, Master Chief. We owe you one.
There we go.
Target those phantoms
Oh,
for the railgun
better get in.
down.
Or you'll be left behind. That's right, it wants us to use it on this thing.
Target acquired. Railgun reloaded.
Oh, lame. Oops, there we go.
Target acquired. Railgun reloaded.
It's my seat. You better get in there. Better get in. Marines are still dumb. They still take their time to get in a vehicle.
All right, Master Chief, we're clear. Any max at your disposal. Take out that particle cannon.
That's right. So we gotta shoot that thing. Or we gotta mark this thing.
Target acquired.
Target suppressed. Nicely done, Chief.
We're just gonna fly up here with a jetpack.
Railgun reloading.
Hopefully those guys are smart enough to drive that thing themselves. In fact, I think if you drive your Warthog over that, I think it dies. So you pretty much want to drive the Warthog into this thing
Contact cleared, but no
so it goes
target
over.
additional targets. Gypsy moving on to secondary battle position, but requesting evac for casualties. I'm on it, Commander. Palmer out.
Is it gonna drive in? Oh, let's see what happens. Oh yeah, didn't make it. Oh, let's watch what happens to the other one. Oh, he made it. Okay.
More Covenant.
Let's see here. Can I mark him again?
Banshees.
And of course, it's got a cooldown, so.
Railgun reloaded.
Oh, that's cool. He's on those things. Just kind of hover over it and let it lock on. Like in Halo Reach. Of course, they're not doing a good job locking on.
Force field. Barricading the far side of this canyon. I'm seeing 3 power sources. Shut them down so the mammoth can move through.
I think I gotta take that out so this thing can go a little farther. We'll play a little bit more before we get into the multiplayer and stuff. I think we showed off a pretty good amount of the game. Oh, surprise.
Good. 2 more. Rain.
My warthog guy, is he around here? Thought he drove up. Oh, don't take that out. I wanted to hijack that. Oh, is this one still drivable? Why, yes it is. You know, we're just gonna hide behind this shield and they can't shoot me. Uh-oh. Whoops. Take. Oh, no, no, not mine. I'm hijacking that back. And boost out of here. Go up. There we go. Back in here. We'll just leave those guys out there to die. Yeah, I mentioned they redid all the sound effects in here, but I was never really keen on the battle rifle sound effect. Oh yeah, we gotta take out that thing. So, yeah, I mean, the environment and the graphics and everything, I mean, it looks really good. I know I'm saying that a lot, but I don't know, it looks pretty good. But let's get into some of the multiplayer now. We got to play some of that now. So now I want to show off the Spartan Ops mode real quick. I mean, it's basically Halo 4's version of Firefly. I talked about it a little bit. It adds more story to the firefight mode. I mean, it basically takes place after the campaign, but it just doesn't have that replayability like the firefight mode. Did I call it Firefly earlier? The firefight mode. But I mean, it's still pretty cool. I mean, it's still fun to play. So we'll show off a little bit of it. I think in the 360 version, I know in the 360 version, I think you can in this one too, you can pretty much just watch the cutscenes, all of them, and just kind of see how the game progresses. Like or how the story progresses. And you know, it's you know, you choose your loadout, what you want to play as. But I mean, the idea was you had your Spartan Ops, and it was basically like chapter based, like, you know, a certain part of the story of what happened after the campaign, and then it ended, and then it would reveal like another chapter later on, so the story would progress. So it's basically just recreated parts of the campaign, and there's a little bit of open world here. If you die, you come back to life. It's, you know, point based, that kind of stuff, but most of it's close quarters. But one of the things I really like about the Spartan Ops mode, I think, like the game I played earlier on the 360, it's a different stage. But actually, I'm going to select that stage. I'll play the same stage just to show it off, just kind of just for comparison reasons. But one of the things I really like about the Spartan Ops mode is if you're a fan of Red versus Blue, there's an Easter egg, and I think in every chapter, where it replaces some of the radio dialogue with one of the characters from Red versus Blue. It's really good. It's hilarious.
Crimson, your job today is to dig out some nasty Covenant squatters. They've parked themselves in a hole with anti.
All right, well, we'll just show a little bit of this. We're not going to get too detailed into it. I mean, you know, you can do a party and play this together and whatnot. But you know, it's more objective based. It doesn't have like the points and the scoring kind of like Firefight did. And I haven't played a lot of it, and I haven't like really gotten into it, so I don't know, like, I don't really have like a detailed comparison of the two. But overall, I know it's not as good. It's not as competitive. I mean, it's great they try to add a story to it, but
No need to rush.
they should have did a better job. And if you're playing it for the story, it gets repetitive really fast.
Prometheans too. Noted.
Let's see. Yep. Oh crap! I got the cloak. I didn't realize I had the cloak. Oh, another thing about the Spartan Ops mode, and I didn't realize this until later when I was playing Xbox with some coworkers, and we were actually playing on Christmas. We were working Christmas Day a while back, and we're like, "Oh well, hey, let's play the Spartan Ops mode together," because we were trying to do some co-op. And the 360 we were playing on was not connected online because it was in a break room at my work. And you have to, your 360 has to be connected online, and I think the Xbox One version is the same. In order to play the game, or not the game in general, but the Spartan Ops mode, is the system has to be connected on Xbox Live, which is like, why? Who made that stupid decision? So. I mean, you don't see, like, the scoring and whatnot, but, like, if I were to die right here, still respawn, still come back to life. And you basically play, it's not, like, play endlessly until you get a certain amount of points. You're playing to a point until you get to the end of this chapter, like this story's chapter. So. I don't know, there could have been a better way to do it to blend Spartan Ops and Firefight together. Or it could have had both. You know, it could have basically did the same thing. I mean, who knows? So, yeah, see, like, I'm bored of this already. We're gonna play some multiplayer now. Okay, so we're going to play some Halo 4 multiplayer now. So for whatever reason, they call Halo 4's multiplayer like Infinity and War Games. They give it a bunch of fancy names, which they try to add like a story to the multiplayer, which is basically you're on the Infinity ship. It's a great big ship, but inside it is also like a training ground. I want to say it's like a holographic training ground or however it works, but it's basically a training ground where you're training Spartans. You know, so, whatever. So, let's find the Halo 4 playlist. And right off the bat, one of the most amazing things I loved about Halo 4's multiplayer on the 360 is you've heard me complain in the past Halo videos that I've done for this series is when you compare it to Call of Duty, if you're playing a multiplayer game and one of your teammates quit or one of your opponents quit, then you're basically minus a teammate or minus an opponent until that game ends and you go to find a new game. Matchmaking doesn't backfill the players that leave. And Bungie never set that up in any Halo games for whatever reason. But one of the things that 343 did is they made it so when you're playing Halo 4 on the 360 and one of your teammates leave, or a couple teammates leave, it backfills it with new players, which is long overdue in Halo, if you ask me. And one of the great things about that is, to this day, I don't remember how many people were playing, like maybe like 1,000 or 2,000 people were playing Halo 4 when I was recording this video, which, you know, I was made that a couple months ago. It was before they patched Halo Master Chief Collection. But before I started recording this, I popped in my 360 version of Halo 4 just to play a couple rounds. And I was playing around 10 a.m. on a Sunday morning, and there was only 500 people playing, because, you know, it shows the player count. But even with 500 people playing, like 50 people playing Team Slayer, a couple hundred people playing Big Team Battle, a lot of people still play Big Team Battle in Halo 4, I was able to find a game right away. Because, you know, eventually someone gets disconnected or someone leaves, but it, you know, pops you in the game. So you're only waiting like a couple minutes. Like before they fixed Master Chief Collection, even when it was still playable, I would still pop in Halo 4 when I felt like playing that game on the 360. Even though it wasn't 60 FPS and 1080p, it was still a good, enjoyable experience. It was a great matchmaking experience. So of course, you know, Halo 4, you choose your loadout, which this game type, it's only giving me one loadout, so it's not like a fancy thing here. And I'll show the loadouts after this match here. But, you know, you're running, you're sprinting, it's a little more Call of Duty-ish. Your weapon placement, they're not placed on specific points on the map like they are in past Halos. It's kind of has more of a randomized feel to it. I mean, I think some of them are, but kind of shows it on your HUD, so you kind of got like a little readout of where things are at. You know, like, you know, your frag grenades are there and whatnot. So yeah, this is a game type here, Legendary Slayer. So basically, it's not the loadouts, it's not the armor abilities. So it's kind of a more traditional Halo game, but you're still sprinting. So it is, but not quite. And another thing they took from Call of Duty is kill streaks. I mean, they don't call them kill streaks. It's not like, you know, Harrier jets flying over or UAVs, something like that. But maybe in this match coming up on the 360 version, you used to not see it at all on the Master Chief Collection, but when they patched it and you start playing Halo 4 games, you see them more often. They're basically they're called ordnance drops. So, you know, you kill a certain amount of people, you get a certain amount of points, and you'll get an ordnance drop. And you choose, like, what kind of weapon or power-up that'll pop up in front of you and pick up and grab it. And it's not too bad. I like it. It's different. Like, above my little mini-map there, you'll see, like, a little meter that fills up. And it looks like the game I played earlier on the 360 didn't have that. Another thing I want to talk about is the game isn't kill score based, it's point based, which I actually like this. I mean, it's not traditional, but it's different. It's like everything they try to do it just a little bit different to kind of give it a different feel. So if you wanted a traditional Halo experience, you can go back to playing Halo Reach. You can play Halo 4 at the time, and you can play either one. It doesn't really divide the community. I mean, it does because it's a different Halo, but you have a reason to go back and play Halo Reach if you wanted to. So you have a reason to kind of enjoy both games. So, I mean, whether it's good or bad, or whether it sucks, I mean, that's up to you. I mean, looking back on it, a lot of people didn't like it. I think people playing. That's 3 people playing. Okay. like I talked about, you know, Halo 4's matchmaking, backfilling it. Unfortunately, that did not carry over to the Master Chief Collection. So, I mean, that's another reason why sometimes I would play it on the 360 over Master Chief Collection is, you know, it's easier to play a full game. Ooh, got a sniper rifle here. But yeah, I mean, the game is score-based. It's not kill-based. So, you know, you get a kill and you get 10 points. But if you get an assist, you add 5 points to your team. Or, you know, if you like distract a player or something like that. So that's kind of cool. It kind of makes assisting your player, getting an assist point, worth something. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool. I like what they tried to do with this game. I mean, it's not the traditional Halo. I love my Halo 1. I mean, Halo 1 is my favorite game of the Halos. So I mean, but I still respect what they tried to do with Halo 4. Halo 5 is a different story, of course, but Halo 4, I can at least appreciate it for what it is. It's like people that like the Metallica Load album, even though I think that album is absolute garbage. But, you know, they like it for what it is. Although I think they sold out. I guess 343 sold out making like Call of Duty. So yeah, I guess it is an accurate comparison. Load sucks, by the way. Kill 'Em All's the best Metallica album. I haven't even seen anyone. No, people are dying. I think we're just demolishing them. So, but yeah, I mean, overall, I bought Halo 4. I was happy with Halo 4. I'm still happy with Halo 4. I still enjoy playing the game. I will play Halo 4 over Halo 5 in a heartbeat. So. There we go. See, there, 5-point assist. So that helps out the teammate a little bit. Or helps out the team, I mean. Yeah, I mean, graphics in the game, lighting is really good. I mean, you look at the earlier 360 version I did. I mean, that map there is a recreation of I forget the name of the map. It's the recreation of a Halo 3 map. I forget the name of it. Halo 4, it's called Ragnarok. But I mean, it's impressive. I mean, it's impressive graphics. Ooh, almost no-scoped them. Just hit the wrong button. Get the next kill because we can go into a more balanced game here. But if you ever play the Master Chief Collection, if you play the Halo 3 version of that map and then you play the Halo 4 version of that map, you can see the differences it made. I mean, it's what a difference a good upgrade in the lighting can make. So we'll show off the loadouts real quick. You go into Master Chief's customization, but has loadouts for Halo 4. I mean, it's pretty much identical to the 360 version. But oh, I got enough battery life to do another game here. You know, you pick your battle rifle, whether you want you know, machine gun rifle, DMR, battle rifle. Pick your sidearm. You know, your Magnum, bolt shot, plasma pistol. Pick whatever grenade you want. Your armor ability. And that's the nice thing about the armor abilities being ported over from Halo Reach is you can customize that to your loadout. Of course, you pick your tactical package, whether you want to resupply with grenades or whether you want your armor ability to recharge faster, dexterity to load faster, sprint longer, hold 2 primary weapons. So, while I'm waiting for the game to start, I'm going to switch out my batteries. There we go. Brand new set of batteries. As far as the Forge mode in Halo 4, it was pretty much ripped right out of Halo Reach. You know, because it uses pretty much the same engine, just heavily modified. But all the Forge structures from Halo Reach were ported over. I mean, you could recreate pretty much all the maps. They added some new features. I think it was like just little measuring things. I don't remember. They weren't really significant. Oh, my teammates leave me? So yeah, pick your loadout, you know, all the ones you set up, or if it's a different game type. Let's see. Oh, it is 1 on 4. For whatever reason, all my teammates left me. So yeah, we got a recreation of Lockout here. Forge recreation. That's another thing I want to talk about. Is, of course, the game had DLC. You know, it's my stance from Halo 3. It was pretty much the same on Halo 4's DLC. You know, like from Halo Reach. Like, I didn't buy any of the DLC because to me it was kind of pointless. And they eventually ported over some Forge maps over to matchmaking, and they also did it here in the Master Chief Collection, but they didn't quite do it as much as they did in Halo Reach. I mean, you see some of them, but not quite as much. Like the 360 version of the game I played earlier. Played one map. It was forgeable. It was like an outer space looking asteroid map. Oh, this is a new game type they added. It's like a fortify type game mode. It's kind of like a territories thing, but you build your turrets there. I mean, this is 1 on 4, so I'm just going to leave this game. Of course, it wants to penalize me because my teammates left and it's just me. Screw you, 343. But let's find a brand new game here. For whatever reason, I'm not having good luck with matchmaking the Master Chief Collection today. Well, we can go back to showing off the loadouts a little bit real quick. I mean, I pretty much showed them all. But when I was talking about the promotional, the Halo 4 promotion they did with Mountain Dew and Doritos when it came out, is you had to progress and unlock a lot of the weapons with points, which, you know, they're none are really more powerful than the other. But I would get all like the double, triple experience rewards from all the Mountain Dew points from working at the convenience store. So, see how long it takes to find a match here. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. If it doesn't take very long, then it's going to be a short multiplayer video. Yeah, there we are. We're finding some players. We're doing fine with matchmaking. It's not too bad. Ah, it's that same map I was playing earlier, Impact. So if you ever, I forget the name of the Forge map that this is based on, but really cool scenery. I mean, really cool map. Let's see. It doesn't have the ordnance drops.
Bases to win.
That's okay.
Enemy taking Bravo. We're taking Charlie.
This is not the map I was playing earlier. It's the same Forge map, but it's not the one I was thinking. That's okay. Something different.
Enemy captured Bravo. We captured Charlie.
So I get lucky.
Charlie almost fortified. Defend at all costs. Lost the lead. Enemy fortified Bravo. Fortified Charlie.
Capture this? Yeah, there we go.
Base capture initiated. Base offense. Enemy taking Charlie. Base capture. We captured.
So you basically get points not only for kills, but also for capturing bases. I keep hitting zoom when I'm trying to melee attack. So I've been playing a lot of the classic Halos lately from making these videos. So now I forgot how to play with modern control schemes.
Base defense. We captured Bravo. Enemy captured Alpha.
If I remember correctly, I think changing some of the colors
Enemy taking
on the textures of things was one of the features they added with Halo 4's Forge mode.
Enemy captured Charlie. Enemy taking Bravo.
Okay, that's good. Let's see that again. That's too bad. Is that a hologram? That was a oh, I got fooled by a hologram. I thought the guy just quit playing for a second. I remember every once in a while I would play Halo Reach and there'd be a lot of people playing using holograms on my team, and every once in a while I would just walk straight like this and just ignore everything. And they would think I was a hologram. And then when I walk by them, I just turn around and just whack. You can only do that a couple times though until they catch on, but of course we got the Promethean grenade, which, you know, kind of works like that napalm grenade from Halo 3. It's basically like a proximity thing. You stand it too long and you take damage. Yeah, it's different. It's not too bad. Do that a little too close to myself. But one nice thing about Halo 3, even a couple of years ago, is the game dropped in value pretty quick. I mean, I picked up an additional used copy a couple of years ago for $5. And I've seen it for like $2 recently. I mean, honestly, I've seen a lot of the older Halos for really cheap, with the exception of 1 and 2. But you know, like I said earlier, if you want to play Halo and you don't have an Xbox One, you know, pick yourself up a cheap 360, buy Halo Reach and Halo 4, and there you go. I mean, you can both play them. You can play both of them online still. Halo Reach probably still has a stronger online presence than 4 does, especially now that they patched the Master Chief Collection. Because, I mean, there's only like 500 people playing earlier. That was on a Sunday morning, which, you know, maybe they just need to get home from church. But, It dropped when Master Chief Collection got fixed, but you know, you can still find a game. You know, backfills matchmaking games, so you're not going to be waiting too long. Or you can pop in Halo Reach, and without owning an Xbox One, you can still play Halo Online. So, I mean, I think they should add a 360 backwards compatibility on Windows 10. That would be awesome. But oh, I was talking about the Promethean weapons earlier. One weapon, and I forgot to mention, I touched up on a little bit, is the Promethean sniper rifle. It's basically a one-hit kill weapon. I mean, you don't have to hit him in the head; you can hit him anywhere. But when you're zooming in, it shows the people around you where you're zooming, kind of like that Predator red laser look thing. So, I always love that weapon. Needler, they kind of made the Needler a little bit more powerful. Could be my imagination, but they basically made the Needler like a power weapon. Like when you do an ordnance drop, or you get like an ordnance drop, the Needler is one of the weapons you can pick. Which is one of the nice things about, you know, the loadouts and the ordnance drops and, you know, the shotguns and things like that, is they kind of boosted the damage a little bit so they almost feel like power weapons. I kind of wish they would have added the Halo 1 pistol as one of the power weapons. That would have been awesome. So you look at the 360 game I got in the corner. If you see that little meter above my my armor ability, as I get kills and get points, you'll see that meter fill up. And when it fills up all the way, I'll get an ordnance drop, and I can basically pick either a weapon or a power-up, which is at random. They also added a power-up of a double damage power-up. Yeah, so you got overshield and double damage. That's pretty good power-up. So we'll play one more here and call it a day. One drawback about playing another drawback about playing the Master Chief Collection version of Halo 4 is when you want to change your loadout, you gotta wait till you're dead. You can't start and change your loadout like you can on the 360 version. Let's see, is this Legendary Slayer? Yeah, Legendary Slayer. So, only one loadout to choose from, no armor abilities, but that's okay. All of that. Cool background. Yeah. Of course, the sword and the gravity hammer. Oh, I mentioned the brute weapons earlier. You know, when they don't have any of the brute weapons in the game, but they still have the gravity hammer. So they don't have any of the brute weapons except for one. They still got the gravity hammer. But one more thing I want to mention when talking about Halo 4 is when you compare it to Halo Reach. You know, I mentioned that Microsoft and 343 were in an interesting place with Halo 4. But when they were developing, you know, Halo 3, Halo ODST, and Halo 4, to me it was obvious that the Bungie developers and Bungie itself, that they were tired of working on Halo. You know, because Halo wasn't their only game, you know, when they released Halo 1 and Halo 2, because they had Marathon, Oni, Mist, I think. Mr. Risk, one of the two. You know, they were known for other games before Halo. Halo was just, you know, their flagship title at the time, which, being acquired by Microsoft, you know, it's like, oh, keep making Halo, keep making Halo. So eventually, it's like, you know, I kind of get sick of it, and they want to do other things, which is why they branched off from Microsoft. But I mean, when Halo 3 was, you know, being released, it's like, okay, you're getting something that people are trying to make and release as their swan song Halo, but at the same time, to them, it's just an obstacle to move on to the next thing. Where when Microsoft set up 343 Industries, their main purpose was to develop Halo. I mean, if you're looking for a job in the video game industry and you have an opportunity to work at 343 Industries, it's to work on Halo. There's not be like, okay, we're going to work on Halo now and some other future project. No, it's all Halo. I mean, they may shuffle some people around, but it's all Halo. So I was really curious, even after Halo Reach come out, way before Halo 4 was even announced, what Halo 4 was going to be like, because I wanted to see a Halo game made by people who wanted to make a Halo game, you know. Whether it was people that, you know, liked the old Halo games or not, it was just like, you know, I was looking forward to see a Halo game come out by people making a game that wanted to make a Halo game, instead of people making a Halo game that had to make a Halo game, if that makes sense. So I think that's kind of why I kind of admire Halo 4 more than I should, or at least more than the average person does. So, and that's how I look at Halo 4. And I wasn't really disappointed in it at all. I mean, there's things about the game that I thought could have been better, could have been worse. You know, things I was disappointed with. You know, in the game, like, you know, the sprinting. Like, I wish there was a game type or custom game setting to turn off the sprinting. But overall, I was happy with Halo 4, and I really liked the game. So, and I still like the game. So. And I'll definitely continue to enjoy it and play it from time to time. So if you haven't played Halo 4 in a while, if you haven't, you know, if you played it when it came out and you really didn't like it, it wasn't what you expected, and never gave the game another chance after that, I would encourage you to just give it a try, give it a second thought. Just go in a little more with an open mind of it being something different, and see what you think. If you still think it sucks afterwards, hey, you're not wrong. Whether you love it or whether you think it's a good game or whether you think it's a bad game, it's both viewpoints are correct, really. I mean, it's a good game, but whether it's a good Halo game, it's kind of up to interpretation. So. I think it's a really good game, and I think it's a decent Halo game. Unfortunately, with the exception of the launch day and the first week or two, I didn't play a lot of Halo 4 with friends. I mean, there's a couple more times when we hopped on, played some matchmaking, but that was pretty much it. Like, didn't have any LAN parties, didn't play with a lot of friends, you know. Kind of when Black Ops 2 came out, so we all played Black Ops 2, so didn't have a lot of multiplayer experiences with Halo 4 other than matchmaking, but a lot of the experiences with matchmaking on the 360 version of Halo 4 were really good, so, or at least for me they were. So. Oops, oh, dang it, did it again. I hit zoom on nothing melee attack. So yeah, that's Halo 4. Those are my thoughts on it. Not really the popular opinion of Halo 4 being a good game, because a lot of people don't really think of Halo 4 as a good game, but I actually really like it. I really enjoy it. I'm curious if other people feel the same way on the game. Hopefully I don't get too many dislikes for thinking Halo 4 is a good game. I mean, I don't think it's the best Halo game. Halo 1's obviously the best game. Halo 2 was obviously better than Halo 4. When I look back on it, I really enjoy Halo 4 more than Halo 3. Whether I enjoy Halo 4 more than Halo Reach, not sure about that. I'd have to really analyze that. Just Halo Reach has a lot of different kinds of ways to play the game with the anniversary matchmaking and the MLG playlists they had and all that. But overall, you know, it's a good game, and I'm curious what other people think about it. If you like it, if you hate it, leave a comment below, and I'll see you for the next video where we're going to play Destiny. We're going to include Destiny in the Halo series Let's Play. So, see you guys later.